Ready, man.
I'm waiting.
From every strand on the line of your reel, to the rods, to the anglers, to the lures on the end of your hook, let's talk about those big bass here on Co-Angler's Corner with your hosts, Rob Welch and John Stoudinger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is John.
How y'all are? Cajun Rob here hanging out with you. Hope everybody's doing well.
Doing good on my end. Had
Absolutely.
a kind of productive day today. Didn't do anything, but hey, I was productive at it.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Cool. But guys, we got a special treat for you tonight. We have got a living legend. It's going to sit in, and we're going to share some stories and talk a little fishing and a little bit of history, and he's a big part of it. He is a two-time Bass Federation National Championship champion and a two-time Bassmasters Classic qualifier. And I met him way back in '99, back in Knoxville, and they had the Wrangler Amateur Tournament. So he's been around for a little while, like I have. So, but we're gonna have the legend himself, Ed Cohen, on tonight, and we're tickled to have him. And I know you're gonna learn a lot. Hey, Ed, how's it going, buddy?
Great. How you doing, guys?
Doing good, man.
Doing well, thank you. Appreciate you coming on in such short notice.
Yeah. That 99 event where we met, I missed that, making the third classic by 2 ounces in that tournament.
Oh, I remember, yeah. Was that the tournament that had all the high water? I remember it was 99 or 2001. It had the flood, all the high water. I can't remember.
Oh, no, I didn't make that. Was on the Red River, the flood one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But that was a blast, man. That was a fun tournament.
Oh yeah, those national championships were always a blast. That's I'm not quite sure what I would be doing if I was young now, as far as a tournament circuit or co-angler, angler, the whole thing. The great thing for like weekend anglers way back, and how I got to the classic a couple times, was the federation program. The state federations, it's changed over the years, and now it continues to change. In 1985, I made the Connecticut state team.
Oh,
and
wow.
It was an 8-man team at the time. So back then, the state federation determined how they selected their 8 best anglers. And there were draw tournaments. 4 guys would be designated to take their boats, and 4 guys would be riders, but they would have the right to half the day, with calling their shots or whatever, And 85 was the first one I went to, and that was on Winnipesaukee in New Hampshire. And Danny Correa went to the club. In those tournaments, your team had to win, and you had to be the top guy on that team to make the classic. And Danny Correa won that. I don't know if he won the event overall, but Massachusetts won the event. He was top angler, and he went on and came in second at the classic. So that was one of the first times a federation angler really did well at a classic, and that was my first experience with it and stuff. Over the years, I made 19 of those teams.
Wow!
So
heck of a run.
Oh yeah! So I made one with Connecticut, and I made I think 5 in New York, and the rest in New Jersey. I right now I live in Pennsylvania, but I'm like 7 miles from New York and 12 from New Jersey. And back at the time, I lived just over the border in New York. So I always lived right in that part of the area. And it actually is who had the better program is what state I ended up fishing, or what club I was in. I've been in 6 or 7 bass clubs over the year.
Wow.
Years. Yeah. So like you qualify for a state team, and most of the states, you go away for a week someplace and they pay for everything. So it was
wow.
So I got 19 free weeks of fishing,
Hey, that's all good, man.
Yeah, it was a great thing. It was a great thing for a guy, with a full-time job, If you made the team every year or every couple of years, you'd have a fishing vacation with a bunch of guys that you mostly knew from the circuits or the qualifying events, and go away someplace, and the Northeast Division, they covers from like down as far as Virginia up to Maine, and so
And Canada.
travel. Well, it wasn't Canada. Canada wasn't part of the Eastern Division at that time.
Okay.
Back in the day, but
Yep.
and that's one thing. There's a lot of talk about why people tournament fish, and like some negative stuff about the money and this and that. But over the years, through bass fishing and through tournament fishing, and largely because of the Federation tournament fishing, which was when I started in the club, we fished for a trophy. We didn't even fish for money. First probably 5 years I fished club tournaments, we were just fishing, for bragging rights, for a trophy.
Oh, yeah.
And over the years I've fished in 23 different states.
Wow.
And, and I never would have gone to most of those places. I've only ever been to the Potomac for a tournament, only ever been to the Thousand Islands for a tournament, only been up to Winnipesaukee 3 or 4 times up in New Hampshire. Like John said, now Canada's part of it. The last Eastern Divisional I fished was in Simcoe in Ontario.
Oh, hey.
I think that was the year. That might have been the year or two before I made it. Because I made it in.
He's got to look at his trophy.
12
or
okay.
13.
Yeah, it was 11. It was 2011. Yeah. And it was pretty cool. That was the only one I ever went to as a rider.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of like co-angler, but not really, because you say so. You get up on the front deck with the guy and everything. And the fact you guys are co-angler corner, I'm probably all over the place here. What a lot of people don't realize, the most famous Federation guy ever was Brian Kerschel.
Yep.
Okay. So Brian Kerschel had this old wreck of a boat, and he'd never make anybody ride. He'd draw somebody with a boat, and he rode with them every single time. So he was essentially a rider. He owned a boat, but he was a rider. And he got through onto the Connecticut team, riding in every tournament. He made the Federation National Championship. Now at the National Championships, they supplied the boat, so he was using their boat, and went to the 93 Classic, which he finished last place in, which puts him in good company because Denny Brower finished last, Rick Clunn finished last. There's like 5 Classic champs that finished last in the Classic. If you don't win the Classic, that's where you want to be, last, because you got the best chance next time.
It's a guaranteed paycheck if you go.
Yeah.
That's true.
So me, Dave Barnes, Artie Applebaum, and Brian traveled together on the 93-94 Invitational Circuit, which was the pro circuit back in the early 90s. They started in the fall. They had 3 in the fall and 3 in the spring, which was great for a working guy. If he wanted to try to fish pro 1 year, he could do it on his vacation time, because he actually needed 3 weeks off on any given year to fish. Now, if you try to string years together, then you're up to 6 weeks. It gets iffy. So Brian fished the 93-94 season, and he rode every day in every tournament. And he made it back to then at the Hudson River, at the divisional at the Hudson River, I qualified for the national championship, and so did Brian. And as a rider, he actually that was my last year on a New York State team. He fished with Rich Snydright, which you may have heard of jerseys. Like if you're a Jersey guy, legend. He made it back to the national championship. He won the national championship, and then he went on to win the Classic. And when he won the Classic, Ranger gave him a boat. Yep. So this is the first time he had a decent boat. Yep. And he fished the first tournament of the 94-95 season on Lanier, came in the money, and then tragically died in that plane crash after that tournament. That's the last time I saw him at the '94 tournament on Lanier in Georgia. Yeah. But, as co-anglers, I thought your audience would be interested that he was a kid. He was 24 years old. He made the Classic twice and won the thing. And the only tournament he ever fished out of his own boat was that Lanier tournament.
Yep.
So, yeah.
I remember his fish calls. I remember the fish calls he used to have. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Brandon Polinick blew it when he, I was immediately a fan of Brandon Polinick for doing that, and he's had just a stellar career. I wish one of these podcasts would just go through the guys that won the national championship, because you got Polinick, and you got several fishing on the elites right now that have won that. It's just pretty. Mike Iaconelli. I don't know if you've had Ike on your show.
No, I don't even know if we heard of him.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Is he a catfisherman?
Yeah. I when he qualified for the national championship, it was on Winnipesaukee.
Yep.
He won the Federation National Championship in '99, and he qualified there through the divisional at Winnipesaukee. And I was the first alternate on that team, and somebody dropped out, and the Federation president messed up the paperwork, so I didn't get to go. So.
Oh man,
I spoiled this whole thing.
It's not the only time that's happened, by the way. Not in New York.
Yeah. No, I'm sure. Now, Winnipesaukee when I qualified for the 2005 national championship that I won, I qualified at Winnipesaukee as well.
Yeah.
And, and the other thing that served me well with the Federation, one of the divisionals the divisional I got to Knoxville through was on the Ohio River. So,
hey.
So I had all the outdoor raiders. The fact that Three Rivers, which was the 2005 Classic, was in Pennsylvania, and I had a Pennsylvania address, I let everybody think I really knew something.
That's classic.
And I got a lot more interest from sponsors because of that, because I kind of went into it something of a favorite.
Yeah.
And after I caught one fish that weighed 15 ounces, which put me ahead of Hackney and Jay Ellis and half a dozen guys that zeroed that whole tournament. Jay Coomer, that was he's got a thing, and he had that loudmouth bass at times. So he's probably more notable then than now. He comes up and says, "What happened?" I said, "I lied." So you gotta have fun with this whole thing.
Oh yeah, you do. Oh yeah, it is.
Yeah. So then we can go back in time. Okay.
Yep.
So early on, I guess the Federation Championships, the first one they had was every state, and one guy went to the Classic. Yep. And then they broke it up to 5 divisions, and the top guy in the winning team went to the Classic off of that. I think it was '89 that they started having this Federation National Championship. So if you were a top guy from your state at the divisional tournament, then you go to the national championship, and they were the Classic. They were a Federation Classic. They had all identical boats.
Yep.
They paid for your transport out there. All you have to do is they limited the amount of equipment you could have. You just showed up there and with your fishing tackle, and they did everything else.
Yep. Did they weigh your tackle?
They were really great events.
Oh yeah, they was.
Did they weigh your tackles? Because you could only have so much.
Actually, at some point, Bass. When I made the '91 Classic, they weren't weighing it anymore. They just sent you a designated Flambeau box. Flambeau was the the sponsor
Sponsor.
at that point, and they sent you this box I still have. And if I had more notice, I might have had it out thinking about this. But if you could jam it in there, you could take it. But that's all you could have. What would fit in that box? It was one of those old sliding drawer type of. I mean, none of us really have tackle boxes anymore. It was the old tackle box.
Yeah.
I think that the Federation Championships were the same thing, because when you went to you qualified through Classic through the National Championship, and you got to the Classic, it's like, yeah, we did this 3 months ago.
Yep.
It wasn't like a big shock where I can't imagine Danny Correa going there and be just thrown into that and finishing second in that tournament. But that's really why, if you looked at the results the Federation guys had over the years, as soon as they started having those national championships, the Federation guys start being competitive. Like in '91 at the Upper Bay, I finished 13th, and 4 of us were in the top 20.
Wow,
the Federation
that's pretty
guys.
impressive.
Oh,
It's
they
big
were sweating. Gary Brown from Ohio finished 8th place in the tournament. He was within 3 pounds of the lead going into the last day. I had my best catch the last day, so I was never really in contention. It's a pretty cool thing. So so they made in 90, I guess. Yeah, because the divisional to qualify for the 91 national championship would have been fall of 90, because the divisional was always in 90. And that tournament was on the Connecticut River. It was still an 8-man team at that time. And the New York team that I was on won the tournament, and I was the top guy. So
okay,
3 years earlier, I would have already made the Classic at that point. So I was pretty much determined to go. It's like, hell, I already did what it takes to qualify for this thing. I better still qualify. And that was on Smith Mountain Lake, that tournament. Yep. And I went down Smith Mountain Lake. They had the national championship in 1990 as well as 91. Yep. In 1990, the tournament won with 19 pounds. And I went down there pre-fished, like just before the off limits, whatever it was. And the first day I was on Smith Mountain Lake, I caught a 20-pound limit of fish.
Dang.
It's like, and in 1991, basically Shaw Grigsby and Guido Hibden and me knew how to catch a fish off a bed.
Yep.
So I, as far as I could determine, in 91, I was probably the only one bed fishing during that tournament, and I might have been second the first day, or maybe I was leading. I mean, basically, the second day there was no doubt that I was going to win the tournament.
Yeah.
And it was real tough. It was like the fish had just started spawning, and they started dropping the lake, and a cold front hit, and it like snowed during the tournament, and the only fish you could catch was one that was committed, locked on a bed, and it would take. I had one fish that I didn't catch that I spent 4 hours over 3 days trying to catch.
Dang.
I averaged about 45 minutes per fish. I had found John will know. I don't know how much Rob knows about it, but smallmouth are the easiest thing in the world to catch on a bed.
Oh yeah.
And I had 4 of them found, 4 smallmouth, and maybe 10 other beds. So the first morning I went and I caught the biggest smallmouth I knew to get the, so right away, 3 casts, I had a 3.5 pound fish in the box in the biggest tournament, I'd ever fished to that point. And then I spent the next, 6 hours catching 3 largemouth, and I went and caught another smallmouth and went and weighed in. So I had a limit because that's just how tough. I mean, it took me 6 hours to catch 3 fish.
Wow.
And then smallmouth were like nothing. And and there was this one fish that kept hiding under a dock that I just never got. I fished for him all 3 days, but I didn't need him that bad.
Yeah.
But the thing is, in '99, by 1999, I swear every guy in the Eastern Division, except the guy that went to the Classic, was fishing for the same bedfish I was.
Yep.
In Knoxville.
Yep.
So everybody learned how. And nowadays, I watch like YouTube. Everybody knows how to catch one.
Oh yeah.
You can all the secrets. They give away all the secrets. It's got to be, these days. No wonder such young kids are doing so well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, in those late 90 tournaments, was Matt Martin on the state team with you in New York?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know he was one of the guys who either loved him or he hated him.
Yeah.
And, he was a good fisherman and arrogant, rest his soul, but
yeah. The other cool thing about those divisionals is you'd see the same. Every state had 1 or 2 guys that were just like top notch, like Dave Barnes out of Maine, Dave Andrews out of, I think he was New Hampshire. Dave Andrews.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like you'd see the same guys.
Yep.
And a lot of them eventually, went to the Classic through the Federation or ended up, qualifying. But it was, it's a shame. In 2006 is when the Federation split into 2 entities. And I was actually at the national championship there. And that was the last national I fished was 2006. Because at some point, I qualified for 7 times for that. I qualified in 91. I qualified again in 92. Now, sometime around 2000, I'm not sure exact year, they started inviting the champ, the guy that won back. But when I went in 92, they weren't doing that. I requalified. Then I qualified in 94 when Brian won. And then Tony Going, the president of New Jersey, cornered me at that tournament. It says, what's New York do for you if you qualify for this tournament? I said, nothing. He said, well, you got to fish with us because if you make this tournament, we're going to give you $2,000 to go pre-fish.
Well,
stuff. So there was a lot more incentive. Now, New York did a good job of supporting their team and paying for everything when they went to the divisional. But after that, you were on your own. But they paid the last, you made the national championship. They paid the last place, and it was a week away beating up Rangers, their Ranger boat.
Yeah.
So it was it wasn't hard to take either way. But so I switched over to New Jersey, and I didn't get to the national championship get till 99. It's like, oh my God, what did I do?
Oh.
Because the thing was before I fished the Federation, I'd fished a Red Man which fished from the Potomac up north, and when I make the New York State team and we go someplace down south that wasn't good, the guys from upstate New York, they're such good fishing that they wouldn't know what to do. They couldn't handle, 4 fish being a good day, And then the guys from Jersey, they were used to miserable fishing. So
like Ohio River fishing. Yeah.
It was Ohio River that actually got me back into the national championship finally, because I'd never pre-fished. I'd never pre-fished for a divisional, and I'd gone from 94, and I made the 99 team, and it was Ohio River. It's like, I gotta go pre-fish this stinking thing because this is my chance. Like, if I catch something, I can beat these guys.
Oh yeah.
So I went out there and pre-fished. I called up one of the Gary Brown, who had been the qualifier out of Ohio at the Classic or at the 91 National Championship. And he says, I don't know anything about it, but I got a good friend that will take you out. So I drove out to, it was West Virginia. The pool, I forget the town, it's just below Wheeling. You could lock up to Wheeling.
Yeah.
And we went out there, and I probably caught maybe 12 pounds. And the whole time the guy says, it's not this good. Don't expect to catch this.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And then a half decent day of fishing. He's apologizing the whole time we're out there. Don't expect And I went, so the Ohio River, they fog delayed us the first day. And I caught 4 fish that weighed like 4.5 pounds. And that put me in second.
Dang.
So the second day, I caught 3.5 pounds. Well, the 2.5 pounder was lunker. and the 714 put me in the lead.
Wow. Can't beat that.
And the third day, I told Rich Snydright that he hadn't caught a fish yet in 2 days. I told Rich Snydright that the power plant, 2 pools up, you had to lock twice to get to this power plant, is worth fishing. You should go fish it. You're not going to zero. Okay. So I went out and zeroed, and he almost caught me fishing that power plant.
Oh, heck. You gave too good advice. You had too good advice.
I ended up in fourth place. I ended up fourth place in the tournament and top guy on the team. So I made it to the, the 99 national championship there. And the 99 that there was in a club in New Jersey. Well, Kota Kuriyama.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Kota Kuriyama was. I met Kota Kuriyama at a sports show at Rockland Community College, Suffern, New York, which is just down Lower Hudson River Valley. And
you were just there last weekend, weren't you?
Yeah, we were just there last weekend. Yep. He was a student, at the college there. He could barely speak English, and he used to hung around with me and Frank Geiner, and he knew Brian Kerschel, and, just our group of friends there, and he'd tell us he was going to be a professional angler. He didn't have a boat.
Oh, hey.
He could barely speak English, but he was going to be a professional angler. It's like he used to fish off the bank at Greenwood Lake. He'd bed fish. He'd fish for these fish in the marina on the bed, and he'd come into my work and tell me what the fish did, how it reacted, and ask me what he should try. And then he'd go, and he'd come back the next day. He's like, well, that worked. I got that one, but this one's doing this.
Oh, heck.
Yeah.
So Frank Geiner, he won the boater side Angler of the Year when I won the co-angler side of Angler of the Year. So he was our captain, and we had to go to Maine.
Oh yeah.
And that was a heck of a drive.
Oh.
But we got a couple comments I want to run through real quick.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Where are we at? Jeremy May says hello.
Oh, hi, Jim.
Jeremy.
Jeremy says it's Mr. Hammer time, Ed.
I think he knows you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says you know a little bit about slider heads.
Yeah, I got that's what Snydright used to beat me with. Snydright. We should talk a little about him when you're done with the. If you got any more comments, but Snydright's a good subject.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't know if a lot of guys know, but he recently passed.
Oh,
Rich
okay.
Snydright. Yeah. When Rich Snydright was Jersey Fed, I think I don't know. He had to make 25 state teams. He was Angler of the Year for the state of New Jersey at least 6 times. The guy, he basically taught Pete Glusak from Bass University how to fish.
Oh, hey.
Okay.
Yeah, he made 2 national championships, and they were the two worst results they ever had. I don't think he ever caught a fish, poor guy. But basically, when I got into New Jersey fishing against these guys, one year I took a look at all the standings. They put out the standings. They say how many fish you caught, how big, and everything. And I looked at the top 20 and figured out what the guys that were being successful, how many fish a day they were catching, and how big a fish they were catching. Yep. And I looked at that, and I figured out that Rich Snyderight was going to catch a limit of the average size fish every day of every tournament, and you were not going to weigh in more fish than Rich Snyderight. So you were not going to beat Rich Snyderight by fishing for the same fish that Rich Snyderight was fishing. And I basically had an epiphany at that moment and started fishing for bigger fish.
Yep.
And, that's basically when I stopped finesse fishing. I jig fished.
Yep.
In the first year I fished with New Jersey, even though I couldn't make the national championship against these guys, I was Angler of the Year the very first year. And that year I was first. Rich Snyderight was second, and Bob Soley, who you might have heard of.
Oh yeah, I know Bob. Yeah,
Bob Soley. There should be more about Bob Soley because I don't know that anybody else ever qualified as a pro and then went on to qualify as a federation angler later on in their life.
Yep.
So Soley comes up to me at the weigh-in and he says, me, you and Rich all weighed in the same number of fish, but you beat me by 20 pounds. Wouldn't you catch every fish on a jig? I said, yep. Never should have told him that.
Yep.
Because I created a monster.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And
Jeremy
okay.
Jeremy wants to know, when was your last professional event?
I fished the Stren series, which is a AAA circuit. Maybe Toyota now. I don't know what the
it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I fished that in 2007, and I actually at some point I fished the pro tournaments from like 91 to like 96 BASS. I had in mind that I was going to, be a pro fisherman, but I think within the first year I knew it's like, this is not like a good career. But I hung around because I had sponsors and stuff, but juggled a full-time job the whole time I did it. But then after Ryan passed, at some point, it's like all I wanted to do, they put his name on that trophy. And my goal in fishing was to win the Brian Kershaw trophy. I mean, 2005, when I won that tournament and qualified for the Classic, nobody ever cared less about qualifying for a Classic than me, because I achieved my goal. I wanted to win that trophy and dedicate that tournament to Brian Kershaw. If you probably on my social media pages, there's the cover of Bass Time magazine, and it says this one's for Brian. And
awesome.
So I was working in construction at the time, and the guy I was working with was a gambler. And he kept harassing me. Why don't you fish these tournaments? Why don't you fish these tournaments? So in 2007, he said, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to pay you for the week. I'm going to pay for everything. You're going to go fish the Stred series to get on FLW, and we're going to split what you win.
Oh, wow.
The best sponsorship I ever had. He staked me. I got paid for the week's vacation. He paid the entry fee. He paid all the expenses. And on that year on the Stren series, I won about $12,000. I think he spent a lot more than $6,000.
Yeah, probably. Truth be known, yeah.
And I still got my regular paid vacation that I would have got anyway. So I got.
Oh wow, man, that's like a mafia deal or something.
Oh, that's great. I even fished. He decided that I needed to pre-fish the Detroit River by going fishing as a co-angler on the FLW circuit, because it was like a month before.
Yep.
So I fished as a co-angler on on the FLW the one time, and I came into money, and there's more interesting stories. So the first day I draw this guy, and he goes to Lake Sinclair, and he's fishing down like an edge of this drop with a Gitsit.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm going to get killed sitting back here in the back. So I started looking around. I pick up a spinnerbait and just start throwing it around the boat. And I take one and I heave a spinnerbait and heave it out like the opposite direction he's fishing and catch like a 5.5 pound smallmouth.
Oh, wow.
So we spinnerbait fished the rest of the day.
I've had that happen.
So
it's amazing what you can do to change a boater's mind.
Oh yeah, real quick.
So the second day, I drew Baumgartner. He was, a good pro. And we go out to Pele Island in Lake Erie, and he's fishing a spinnerbait down this drop, and we're fishing for a little while, and he says, "Oh, one followed it." And I look behind the boat, and we're only in 7 or 8 feet of water, and the water's real clear. And this stupid fish is following the boat, like in the shadow, just behind the prop. Oh. So I drop a drop shot down there, and he eats it. Well, I called 2 fish before he caught a second fish, and I caught every one like that.
So he's bringing the fish in, and you're catching them.
Yeah. So then we go to drop shot fishing, and I probably had him 20-3 at this point, and it's like,
oh wow,
we're on a lake, and he's shaking this thing, right? This drop shop, and they wanted it like dead. They just like,
yep.
And I'm going, man, it's a little rough out here, and it's getting late. I go, hey, you're moving the bait too much. Stop moving the bait. And he just holds the bait still, and he turns around. What did you say? What did you say? And he catches one. Then he catches his limit fish like 2 casts later. We didn't get killed on the way back.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
But I thought it was funny that I basically directed without just by fishing. I don't know if that's going to work with behind some guy with forward facing sonar, but
you never know.
No. And my other co-angler.
If you start catching them, they'll listen.
Oh yeah, they'll change.
Yeah, they will. Everybody wants to catch fish. That's the point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a cool experience. My little bit of co-angler experience has been good. Another time I fished the Pennsylvania Federation's. I never made a Pennsylvania team, but they're split up, and they stopped having those teams anyway by the time I stopped fishing them. The first tournament of the year they had on the Susquehanna River and on this pool, but guys with jet, if you didn't have a jet boat, you didn't weigh a fish in this tournament. And it was the opening tournament of the year. And whatever end of the year things, the top 6 boaters and top 6 co-anglers went to the thing at the end of the year. And there was about 7 guys on the angler side that had caught a fish. And there was only 5 co-anglers that had caught a fish. So there was an open spot. Wow. So I fished the rest of the year as a co-angler. And the very first tournament I fished as a co-angler was on Oneida Lake. And I ended up winning the co-angler side on the Alabama rig. And it's the only tournament I've ever won on Oneida Lake.
Oh.
The guy knew where the fish were. And I just caught. I didn't have enough to win the tournament overall, but I won the co-angler side. I think I would have finished second. I had a good bag. I outfished it. And then the next tournament after that, my angler's motor blew on the way to his first spot. Oh. And I called up the tournament director, and he said, call somebody was alone, and they came and picked me up, and I got to fish the rest of the day. And this guy trolled the motor back to the ramp. So if you imagine being that boater and you lose your whole day and you break down your equipment, co-angler, that was great. I got to go fish.
Wow, I was lucky.
Yeah. So it was a good experience.
Oh yeah.
and I did make the top, freaking 6 for the year as a co-angler,
Sweet.
but there was
How would you rate that? Do you think it's easier or harder as a co-angler to make it to that?
It's you're at somebody's mercy, and it can be really hard to fish behind somebody that isn't, a good fisherman.
Yeah.
I was fortunate that I didn't have any guys that were just clueless,
Yep.
Yep.
Because I know when I first started out tournament fishing, I got in a bass club. I got in 2 bass clubs when I was in high school, and there's another point with this. I got in a bass club as a rider in a bass boat club, and I never, until I bought a boat, I never won one of their tournaments. Best I ever finished was second.
Yep.
But I learned like a lot because that club had a guy that nobody probably ever heard of, Don Cajano. He was from Tarrytown, New York. He qualified as a pro for the Classic in 1985 and 1986.
Wow.
And so he would go to these pro, and he fished the pro circuit from the late 70s. Like that first tournament they got one flipping.
Yep.
In the late 70s, he came back. Every guy in that bass club had a flipping stick before it hit the magazine.
Oh, hey.
The guys that own boats at the local tournament, the boaters that fish the local tournaments, we killed everybody because Don, knew everything that was going on. Like when I started fishing pro in 91, the guys from the north were 10 years behind the guys from the south.
Right.
For the most part. And this Don Cajano, he'd tell us everything he learned at these pro tournaments. And, that helped me a lot, really.
Oh, yeah.
Over the years. And then the second club I was in was a John boat club. And I had a John boat. We fished in the state park with electric motors. And I won a lot of them.
Cool.
But there was some in my regular bass boat club as a rider, there were some of the guys that were not, I had it all over, and you'd suffer sitting back there knowing they didn't know what they were doing,
Yep.
And it's tough to fish behind somebody that isn't a good fisherman that when you know how to fish. So,
Oh yeah.
but when you get, I didn't have on the FLW circuit. I didn't have that experience. I mean, I'm sure there's some guys, but yeah. But that's like being in this John boat club. I think personally, you probably, well, you guys are old enough that you do what you do. But if I was young, before I was a co-angler, I think I'd fish kayak tournaments. Because it's really about making the decisions,
Yeah, that's what I'm doing most of this season. Kayak. I got one last summer. Love it.
Oh yeah, where'd you get?
Just got a little Moken 12.5, just to paddling, and I've had a blast with it, man. And it's funny because when I go out and come back, I have more lures I started with because there's ones in the trees nobody can get to. There's ones on the bank I can get to. So I come back with a whole little bucket full of them. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I just bought one in August, a kayak.
Yep. Oh, they're great. They're great. I love it.
I used one. We were on vacation last summer, and all I had to use was a kayak, where we were, and I fished with a little bit, and my wife liked it, and she had a canoe where you'd paddle sometimes, but I didn't get to fish. With the kayak, and we got 2 kayaks now. She can paddle, I can fish.
There you go. Hey, that's the system right there.
Yeah, well, I haven't tried to do a tournament one yet. I haven't tried to, do the CPR thing. Measure. Have you measured any fish of yours yet?
I just bought a leaderboard this week, and I'm going to try to fish some. They got the online tournaments you can get into and catch it, like in your state. So I'm actually going to start Friday. So hopefully you'll see some fish pictures on my leaderboard on Friday.
Oh, cool. Which tournament you in?
The KBF, I think it's the regional and the state. They have like a regional and then the state one, the Kentucky State. So I'm in a couple of them.
Now, is that Tournament X or Fishing Chaos?
Fishing Chaos, I believe. Yeah,
Fishing
Chaos.
They got a few, like Strike King had a free one last year, and Tyler something. Somebody
Tyler's
else.
Real. Yeah, Tyler's Real, I think.
Yeah, they're free.
Yep.
They're free. Because I started doing those in 2020 when nobody was having any tournaments.
Oh, wow.
Slay Nation.
Yep.
Frank.
Frank had online ones. I saw him on Mike's show. And Iconelli's show. And Iconelli had a few in 2020.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool,
Oh, yeah.
But that measuring stuff, that's not easy. I don't know. I'm a little nervous about doing it in a kayak. It's hard enough to do in a bass boat.
Well, I've noticed a couple guys will have their net like where the leaderboard is. They'll have their net like right there.
Yeah,
so I've got a couple of tricks. So, but I'm gonna figure it out.
I'm more concerned about my board, my phone, and the fish.
Well, I got the Yak Attack board and it floats, so I got that covered.
Oh, okay. Yeah. yeah. I got a paddle kayak.
Yeah, that's what I got. But I love it, man. It's I've had more fun on that thing the last 6-8 months than I had in a long time. I love
get to use it. I know sooner I got it and it got too cold.
Yeah. I got to use that for a little bit, but mine's got a wheel on the back, so I can like push it around like a wheel bar, and I can just launch at the roadside or whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Great.
I got one of those carts, the Yak Attack.
Yep.
Wheels. Yep. And,
Now,
but we're frozen. These lakes are just opening up just now.
yeah.
They're probably solid up by John.
No, they're not.
They were starting to open up.
Yeah.
Wow.
The canal right outside my house is all opened up. So I'm sure Cayuga Lake's open, and Oneida Lake, I think they say has ice, but it's not safe to go on.
Yeah. So those ice fishermen are crazy.
Oh yeah, they are, man.
Yeah.
They
But,
go out there. They push it. Right.
Well, I work for Pittman Creek, and we sell wholesale tackle out of little mom and pop shops. And man, when the ice fishing's on, those shops sell out. I mean, they sell every bit of ice fishing stuff they got.
Yeah.
I mean, just like that. It's amazing.
We have it. One of the biggest ice fishing dealers in the country is 307 Tackle up by Lake George.
Yeah.
But the last few winters, he's been in trouble.
Oh yeah. I've heard that. Yeah.
He needed this. I even went ice fishing this year, first time in a while.
Oh hey.
Yeah.
I've never done it.
No.
I think part of that is because when I was younger, my foster brother took me for a ride on a snowmobile.
Yep.
And we didn't quite make it all the way across the pond.
Oh, that was good.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
So
This is like everybody. I've never ice fished out of a shanty or any kind of closure. The way I like to ice fish is I like to go to a popular lake where they punch lots of holes.
Yep.
And then go in the afternoon when everybody's getting out and just take a spoon or a jig and Rapala and drop it down. If you don't get hit in like a minute, you're not getting hit.
Just go to the next hole. Go to the next one.
Oh yeah, just go to the next hole. Go to the next hole. This first bass club I was in, the John Boat Club, fished Harriman State Park, and it's in downstate New York. Have a bunch of lakes there. So the first full season they had, I won like half the tournaments. I won their championship at the end of the year. So these guys figured, they're going to get, and there was about 6 of us that were in high school, and the top 10 went to their end of the year championship. It was a big club. They had 75 members. Wow. And all 6 of the kids in high school made the top 10. And all we had, and basically what we knew in 1977 was throw a spinnerbait.
Yep.
That's how 4 of the 6 of us got on there, just throw a spinnerbait. So they figured they were going to pull a fast one. They're going to fix me. They're going to have ice fishing tournaments.
Oh hey. Comedians, man. Man.
Guess what happened?
You smoked them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Yeah. It was, but just hold the hole. Just all that sitting around. Nah, I've never fished. I've never caught a fish on a tip up. That's the fish trap. That's what most ice fishermen do, is just tip up fish. That's who left all the holes when they leave at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You go out there, you just go to hold the hole.
And you don't have to drill a hole. Hey, that's the way to do it, man.
Yeah. Don't drill a hole. Just go out there and use all the old ones.
Yeah.
You're recycling. You're recycling them, man.
Recycling. Yeah. Oh, recycling is another good thing. I never met a released area that I didn't like.
Oh yeah. That's Ohio River fishing. Ohio River fishing now is like they're running boat dock to catch retreads. That's
exactly. I even so in 2004 on Winnipesaukee, when I made it to the national championship, which I won, that got me the classic. So the Jersey team, I guess they hadn't done real well, and the one Mike made the national in '98 or whatever it was, and Jersey guys, they're not really smallmouth fishermen, especially back then. And so they tried the largemouth fish, and they didn't do real well overall. So the first day, so in practice and everything, we all agreed we're going to fish for smallmouth. Nothing but smallmouth. You have to catch smallmouth in this lake to do well. So we all went out, practiced for smallmouth. We went out the first day of the tournament, all fished for smallmouth. And I was third high on the team after the first day, and we were in last place.
Oh, man.
So we went out the second day, and it's like 9 o'clock, and I don't have a fish yet. And I go to my partner. The partner is like, I don't have a clue how to catch these smallmouth, and nobody on my team does either. I'm not doing this. So I put all my rods in, pulled out my flipping stick and a map. Pulled the map out. It's like, we're going there.
Yep.
And I ran to every marina in the back bay on the lake. And so after the second day, I had a good lead because I caught a good bag of largemouth.
Oh, heck.
There you go.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
Well,
And actually, they had got us to more advocate for these state teams. So I made this team for Winnipesaukee, right? They sent me a check for, I think, $800 or $900 to cover my expenses.
Yep.
I drive up. They rented the lakefront, like cottages right on the lake. I pull into the parking lot. Tony Going comes out and says, "What kind of beer you want?"
Oh,
I
heck.
want the beer. Okay. So what could be better than that? So, and then just down the bank from where we stayed, there was like this single canal cut up into the bank through a trailer park. It was about 4 feet deep in the middle.
Yep.
And like the nastiest looking water you ever saw. That's where I got most of them.
Oh, heck.
And most of them you caught in there were like had one eye.
Oh, yeah.
Because they had tournaments out of where we were staying, and it was a quarter mile down the shore, and every sick largemouth somebody threw back and
Oh,
these tournaments swam right into that canal.
One-eyed fish, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, all that. And the third day, the whole team was fishing for largemouth, doing the same thing I was. I didn't, because these teams, I could never like let some poor guy that just took a week off and went, 400 miles from home, sit there and zero for the freaking week.
Oh yeah.
We always and Tony Going, the Federation president in New Jersey, he insisted you go to that meeting every night and really encouraged the guys to share, and it was a whole lot more fun when you all work together.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, those things. And I was on three winning teams, 3 second place teams, and 3 third place teams. So
Oh, hey.
had some real good times at those things. It's a real shame they don't have them anymore.
I was on 1 third place team.
1 third place team. Okay.
Yeah.
It's great, right?
It is. I had a good time. The fishing sucked.
Yeah.
But it sucked for almost everybody except for Paul Mueller.
Oh, Paul Mueller? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that how he ended up getting to the National League one? Yeah. Yep.
Because he qualified, or he won. Well, he was I think, second on Connecticut's team.
Okay.
And he had an 8-pounder the last day, and he weighed it in.
Jeez.
Yeah.
He was in flight number 2, I think, and they held him back until the very last person to weigh in.
Oh, geez.
That's usually a good sign.
8-pound fish. That 8-pound fish, that must have been one of the southern.
That was in Maine.
In Maine?
Sebago.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah. Sebago. Yeah, I didn't make that Sebago. They went up to Sebago twice. It was terrible. Both times from what I hear.
Dan Morgan stopped on.
Oh, right. He has a good show.
He said he missed the Old State Federation regionals.
Yeah. He was on a bunch of them.
Yep.
If you got, if any of your audience doesn't catch his shows, he puts out and he gives away too much information about the Hudson River.
Oh.
See, you mentioned the Hudson. I wonder why the Federation doesn't go there. Now, I know you got to clean your boats and da-da-da, but there's a lot of fish in that river.
Yeah, I don't know. Those Federation tournaments don't get much interest anymore.
No, they don't.
I
remember when I first fished them, I think it was in 2012.
Yeah.
We were getting like 110, 120 boats.
Yeah.
And you'd have the same amount of co-anglers.
Yeah.
Now they're lucky to get 50.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
50 boats and 25 co-anglers.
Yeah. A lot. Too many tournaments like in the 80s and 90s. That was the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it was.
Especially after Brian Kershaw won the Classic.
Oh, it exploded!
Yeah. That was Yep.
Alrighty, sir. Well, we're almost an hour through.
Oh yeah.
Already.
We could.
Well, time flies. You having fun? That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
We'll have to do this again.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We could still stick with the original date.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Probably get a few more on if promote it, or maybe they'll be, or maybe they'll be smart enough to not come on. Yeah.
Maybe so.
Depends.
Are you still making the short arm spinner baits?
I make spinner baits. I make buzz baits.
That buzz bait, I got 3 or 4 of them. Those things are awesome. Love them.
I can't believe nobody's come up with that.
I know. It's like perfect, man. It's like just a bomb.
Yeah. You look me up. I'm like Ed Cowan 5 on Instagram, and you'll see fish pictures there and a link to eBay or just message me. I'm under my name on Facebook too.
Yeah, I got some of your grass jigs too. Love them. Them grass jigs you make are awesome.
Those are cool. Those are
they are.
Yeah. That was the thing that really got me. How I figured out to make a mold for something without paying a machine shop a lot of money.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, when I go to Guntersville Chick, I got that online. I got that ready to go.
Cool. Yeah, we talked to Ike Kennelly was said somebody had told him on one of his shows that punching was invented in 1994. It's like, yeah, I won New York Federation tournament 88 punching freaking milfoil on Cayuga with that jig.
Oh, absolutely.
So it wasn't anymore, I can tell you.
I'll tell you now that there is no punching on Cayuga Lake anymore.
No, it's a
Oh,
shame.
man.
The zebra mussels really changed the fishing.
Well, it's not as much the zebra mussels as it is the college.
Oh yeah.
They're out there pulling and spraying and.
Oh, that's I'm going. My club's having a tournament up there this year, so I'm looking forward to.
Okay.
I haven't fished it for several years. We've been going to Champlain every year, and it gets back to the thing that tournaments get you to go places you wouldn't
Oh yeah.
normally go, and that's
Yeah.
really one of the coolest things about it. In the club I'm in Five Alive Bassmasters in New Jersey, which is the biggest bass club there is, and we'll have our opening event. We'll have like 90 anglers. We all fish for one pool. We don't have co-anglers. Everybody's equal.
Yep.
But we don't do draw. Most of the guys fish alone, and the guys that don't have boats get drawn out or can fish with a couple guys fish with their wife every time.
Oh yeah.
We don't have a lot. It's just a club. We have fun.
Yep.
But it's a good.
That's the main thing.
Yeah. It's a good time. Well, it was good seeing you guys, talking to you guys again.
You too. You need to get Jim Sperone out there fishing with you.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, you take care. Be safe.
Okay, take care.
Hey, enjoyed it. Appreciate it, Ed.
Good, thank you.
Talk to you in a couple
All right.
months.
Okay.
All right,
bye.
see you, buddy.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
All right. Man, had to ask. Man, I knew he'd have some stories, and man,
Oh,
that's just the top of the iceberg. He's got some. Uh-oh.
You're right, Dan. They don't work on the Hudson or Champlain or Cayuga. But no, Dan, we appreciate you coming on. You do have a great YouTube channel. I watched a couple of videos with you and your son, and he's going to be a hammer for years down the road.
Oh, absolutely.
So, all right, folks. Well, it's Wednesday. It's beer 30. And I'm going to have a cookie.
Hope you don't get in trouble.
I'll tell you later.
Okay. Oh, and let's not forget, hey folks. Yep, if you know, you know. Got some hats up. Got a couple different styles. There's Dan again.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we'd love to have you, Dan. Love
Definitely.
to have you, man. You do a great job in your podcast, man. Awesome job. But yeah, we'd love to have you on, brother. Absolutely.
Now, my buddy Steve Pickard, our first year fishing the federations, he drew Dan on Oneida Lake.
Yep.
And he was like, that guy can catch fish out of a toilet with no water in it.
I believe it.
I think I don't know if he won the tournament or he was in the top 5 as a co-angler. And back then it was like everybody was one.
Yeah.
And I thought I was doing pretty good because the first tournament I finished, I think 15th. The second tournament, Oneida Lake, I should have won. I was fishing with Eric Barker, and I lost probably about a six plus largemouth on a jig.
Oh.
I had a 50-pound Power Pro braid. I set the hook. The fish didn't move. I mean, he came up and just surfed across the top. Next thing you know, I heard something like a shotgun. That was my line break.
Oh, man.
And I'm sitting down and I got a bad feel in my stomach. And Ed comes over to me. He goes, "You just lost the tournament."
That's true. That's true.
All right, folks. Well, hey, y'all take care and be safe. If you're going fishing, wear your vests.
Every time. Yep. And get out Friday. It's like everybody's getting stormed Saturday. So I'm going to head out in the old yak Friday after work and hopefully catch a few.
I do want to say one thing, though. One more thing. There's been a lot of controversy lately about how anglers are treating, or tournament anglers are treating local anglers.
Yep.
Now, if you want to know how to do it and do it properly, go look at Midwest Fisher Girl, Christine Fisher.
Yep.
She put out a video, I think either yesterday or today, and that's what it was about.
Oh yeah, and that's the absolute best way to handle it. I mean, she handled it with class. That was total class on her part.
Yeah, there's other pros that don't handle things like that.
Absolutely.
And if you want to know how to fish next to somebody, watch Polnick in the last tournament.
Yep.
So, all right, folks, I rambled enough.
Yep. And Ed said he'll definitely watch the one with Dan. So absolutely, man. We're gonna have it. We're gonna make that happen.
All right, folks. Well, hey, take care, be safe, and see you Monday.
Peace.